Hello everyone, this is Caleb Simpson from ZeldaDungeon.net, and you are watching our video walkthrough for The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks for the Nintendo DS. This is the 7th chapter of the walkthrough, and we have just completed the Ocean Temple / Marine Temple, which has restored part of the Tower of Spirits. And before we head back there though, there's tons of stuff we can do. In fact, most of the videos in this entire chapter are all optional collection. So if you'd like to just skip straight to the tower, you can skip to the final video of this chapter, the 4th one. So, now that we have rails heading back towards the tower, there's another rabbit we can access. Just north of Cappuccio Village, you'll find this critter on the far left. So now that we have the whip, there is some stamp stations and treasure we can get here in the Ocean Realm. You want to stop at the Ocean Sanctuary, and in this first area you want to run to the water's edge to the north of the train, and from here on out you can now see birds that are flying around and stuff, and you can use these Song of Birds to make them come to you and swing low so you can grab on with your whip. Remember that you need to keep the stylus on the screen until you want to drop, similar to the spinning dealios in the Ocean Temple. So once you've grabbed that treasure, you want to go back to the shore and then take the shortcut to the right to return to the final portions of the sanctuary. There's a bird flying around this central thing where we played the duet with Carbon, but if you play the Song of Birds and you're too close, then that particular bird can get caught on stuff, so instead I recommend that you're standing a little further away before playing that song so that you don't have to do it multiple times and make the bird come to you. This next treasure chest is in the far top left corner of the map, and you'll have to work your way past the Octoroks and the low barrier, but you can now use your whip to take away its stone shield, so that's kinda cool. There's also another chest to the far right that I actually got earlier, but if you didn't get that with me a few videos back, then you can snag a Cucco in the top right corner of the map and work your way south to get that. Working our way towards the forest realm, next up is Cappuccio Village. Go back to the area where Carbon was chillin' with the birds and play the Song of Birds. This allows you to reach that chunk of land over to the far southeast. This next area is kinda confusing looking. To move along the islands, you'll need to use the Song of Birds at specific points to bring the birds to you. Now I have my map marked showing the travel routes that they take, but it's important to note that at specific points, they can only go one way. So you have to kinda work your way clockwise around this area. So once you reach the far south, you want to play the song to get to the center island. And there are two birds that patrol here, one going to the right while the other one goes northwest. Now notice that I passed a bird that was going back the way I came. This means that I happen to snag the one going left. So I continued holding my whip because this one is going the correct direction that I want to go to anyway. So after you get the treasure from the middle island on the left, you can then use the Song of Birds over to call over the bird from the far south. This one flies pretty high up, so it can be confusing to know when to let go. To make this a little easier, you can watch your map, and when Link's head is definitely over the island, drop down and use the stamp station. So after you've done that, return to the middle island and work your way north, killing the low barriers along the way. The easiest way to do that at this point is to use the whip. These ones are kind of close together, so the boomerang doesn't really work that well, and it's kind of hard to maneuver between them because you'll probably just get hit. So anyway, I just recommend using the whip and just take away their stone shield and toss it at them. At the end, you'll find a treasure chest containing 100 rupees, which is the last thing we had to do in this particular area. To the right a bit, you can summon a nearby bird, which is a nice little shortcut back to Cappuccio. So before you leave, there is one last thing we can do here in the Ocean Realm. Before we completed the Ocean Temple, we took Carbon to the Ocean Sanctuary, and he gave us the first Force Gem, which created some spirit tracks nearby. This also unlocked a few other Force Gem side quests that are now available to us, and you could have done some of these earlier, but it makes more sense to get them out of the way now, since we're doing some other side quests too. This woman in the centered house here is looking to get hitched, and you can play the matchmaker and find her a dude, but she's a little picky. Her guy has to have a generous nasal passage and considerable hair surrounding the chin and cheek area. Because as we all know, those are the kinds of things that drive the ladies wild. I can already foresee a flood of young men growing out their face after watching this video. Mwah! I take my bow, having given something worthwhile to society. So now we have to run off and go find this dude for her, the rugged guy with a big nose and a big beard. Sounds like one of the dudes over in Whittleton/Mayscore, so set a course for the Forest Realm and stop at the village to see what we can find. So this next part might seem a bit confusing because they don't really explain that you can grab any guy here, speak with any of them, and after a quick chat they'll agree to come with you. So that kind of just makes you assume that as soon as you come here the first time you're like, oh yeah, I guess I found him already, that was easy. But no, only one of them is correct, all the rest are wrong. If you take the wrong one back to the woman in Cappuccio, she'll send them away quite rudely. Remember, we need to find a burly guy with a big nose and a big beard. So, the correct person who has those features that we're looking for is none other than the village chief. Now, he does indeed have those exorbitant qualities our female friend is looking for. I mean, just look at that nose. Look at it! It's the same size as Link's torso. Who could resist? Pure romance, my friends. Incredible. It doesn't take much prodding to get the chief to come along, so head back to the train and return to Cappuccio on our errand of love. Don't forget to obey the signs along the way, though, otherwise your passenger could get angry and leave. Well, we got our force gem, and it looks like the chief found a gem of his own. Woot! So return to the train and check out the tracks that we just formed in the Forest Realm. You're probably curious about the dead end to the north, but that just leads to some other rails we'll eventually have there. I don't really understand why Nintendo didn't just make that little section of rails not appear until after you had both, rather than having a random chunk appear in the middle of nowhere that you couldn't actually use. Oh well. So there's two rabbits next to the tracks, one on the far right near the passage to the Ocean Realm, while the other is closer to Whittleton/Mayscore on the north side. Once you've gotten both of those, head back to Whittleton where I will meet up with you in the next video for even more side quests.